let's go over some profit-taking strategies for this bull cycle. Let's jump right on into it. All right, guys, so today we're going to go over some profit-taking strategies. I'm going to tell you what I'm most likely doing and how I'm most likely going to take profits when we get into the heart of this bull cycle. So first off, I want to start off by saying that taking profits is by far the hardest thing to do in crypto. It's much easier for people in general to buy crypto when the market's red than it is to sell crypto when the market is green and the euphoria phase is in full swing. It's a psychology thing where everybody is so on cloud nine that they think that the crypto and their portfolio is just going to keep going up and up and up and up, and there's no stop to it, because that's what it seems like at a certain point in time. The savvy people are going to see the signs and start selling off their bags to the new people that come into the market during this phase, where they are going to be buying up all of our bags, right, when we start to sell, knowing that the market's overheated. So that is going to be something that we are going to have to monitor, okay? There's multiple different ways that you can look at this scenario as well, right? You can look at it from a price point, which I don't recommend doing because the price can either top out a lot higher or a lot lower than what a lot of people are thinking that it's going to do, which happened last cycle. A lot of people thought that Bitcoin was easily going to $100,000, and they were staying in the market and not selling because they thought it was inevitable. And what happened was it died just shy of that, and a lot of people went back into the bear market still holding all of their bags and rode the market all the way back down, which is something that we do not want to do. So I think the best way to monitor this is by time frame, because every 4 years the market usually tops out in the fourth year, which is going to be, in this case, 2025. And the market usually tops out somewhere between September, October, November in that year. There has been years where altcoin season goes into January of the following year, which would be January of 2026. But I don't know, it's going to be a day by day, week by week type of monitoring scenario. And I'm going to be paying very close attention to all of that because I want to make sure I can sell as close to the peak as possible. Now, the other part of that is the price point. Now, I think that Bitcoin is probably going to top out at about $150,000, somewhere between 120 and 150. There's a lot of people saying 200 to 500K, and I'd be very weary of those people because that's the exact scenario that happened last cycle, the 100K mark, and it never got there. So it's a two-pronged thing for me where time frame is going to be by far the most important. But I'm also going to look at Bitcoin at around the 120, 150,000 dollar mark, and if we fall into the time frame at that same point, then that is double confirmation that we're probably getting close to the end of the bull run. Now, there's a lot of people also that are saying that we may have a left translated cycle where we're going to finish earlier, right? Everything's going to top out early 2025 rather than late 2025. Now, that's a possibility, but the fact that we are consolidating right now, the fact that we have not gone back up and made a new all-time high yet, leads me to believe that we are calming down and we are setting ourselves back up into the same window as we were in prior cycles. That leads me to believe that if I were to take an educated guess right now, I would say summer to November of 2025 is when we're going to top out. And I'm going to be monitoring that window very close. Now, if there are signs that we are accelerating a little faster than that and we're getting overheated earlier than that, then maybe I'll change my tune and start selling a little bit earlier. But as of right now, history will suggest that we are looking for some time between the summer of 2025 and November of 2025. As far as taking profits, right? As we get into this closer and closer, I will be letting you guys know what I am doing at current times, so that if I do start selling, if I do think the market's getting overheated, if I do think that we are, nearing a top of the cycle, then I will let you guys know exactly what I'm doing and be completely transparent about what I'm doing. So as far as getting into the nitty gritty of how we're going to take profits, right? Because that's very important as well. You want to have all of your methods set up in advance, right? And you want to be practicing a little bit here and there so that when the time comes, it's second nature to you and you're not struggling to download this and download that and buy this and trying to race to get all of these things set up and then maybe miss the window that we have where we have the chance to sell. So I'm going to go over exactly what you should be doing in the meantime to prepare yourself and to set yourself up. And then we'll go into how we're going to execute when it's all said and done. First of all, I'm going to tailor this towards Caspa, but I know a lot of you guys, and including myself, have investments in other cryptos as well. So we're going to use the same strategy, and most of these exchanges and most of these wallets that I'm going to present are going to work for almost any crypto that you probably have in your portfolio. So when we go down to here to markets and we see that Caspa is listed on a bunch of exchanges here, I would recommend having a CoinEx account, which is on the second page here, right here. I would recommend having a Bitmart account, which is back on the first page, I believe here, right here. I would recommend having an LBank account, which is right above Bitmart, and an XT account. So those are 4 smaller tier 3-ish exchanges. And in the United States, you're going to need a VPN to transact and move around on those exchanges. If you don't have a VPN already, then I would highly recommend downloading NordVPN, which is what I use, and you can set your country to Switzerland, which is what I use more often than not. There's plenty of countries out there that are more crypto friendly that you could use as well. But I use Switzerland because it is very lenient and allows me to buy pretty much anything that I want on those exchanges. So first action is download CoinEx, download Bitmart, download LBank, and download XT exchanges. Also get yourself a VPN before you do any of that. Set your country to Switzerland and then sign up on those 4 exchanges. And when you sign up, use a throwaway email address. Do not sign up with your phone number because that will link you back to where you are located in the world. And if you're not allowed to transact, like we are not in the US, then it's going to immediately tell you to get lost, basically. It won't let you play around. So create an email for all 4 of these and use that email and use a VPN. And you should be able to get into the exchanges and you should be able to buy whatever you want in those exchanges. Almost every crypto that you can possibly imagine will be able to be bought in those 4 exchanges. I use CoinEx and Bitmart more than I do anything. And I do have a MEXC account as well, but I think I heard they're doing KYC for new users. So unless you are grandfathered in like I am, I wouldn't recommend using MEXC because you're going to have to KYC and you're not going to be able to do anything if you're in the United States potentially. So follow those steps. Sign up for your accounts, get inside, make some buys, make some sells, figure out how to use those exchanges. Get used to how to move around, how to trade money, how to sell crypto, and all of the above. So next, most of you guys probably have an account on Kraken, Crypto.com, Coinbase, Uphold, or KuCoin, I'm assuming. If you don't, choose one and create an account on those exchanges. Those ones you're going to have to KYC, so you're going to have to give them your information. You have to take a picture of your driver's license. You have to dox yourself, basically, so they know who you are. And that's fine. that is going to be your main on-ramp and off-ramp, okay? So whichever one of those exchanges you like the best, all of them are fine. That is where you're going to be onloading money from your bank account and offloading money after we make profits into your bank account when you are ready to do that, okay? So let's reiterate real quick. Get a VPN, NordVPN, set your country to Switzerland, okay? Download CoinX, download Bitmart, download LBank, download XT.com, or at least a couple of those, and create an account on those exchanges and use an email address, a throwaway email address. Do not use your phone number when you are setting up your account, okay? And then lastly, if you don't already have one, I'm assuming most of you do, create an account with Kraken, Crypto.com, Coinbase, Uphold, or KuCoin. Okay, as your main on and off ramps. You will have to KYC and give your information on those bigger exchanges. Okay, so now that that's done, your next step is to get yourself at least one Tangem wallet. And there's a very good reason for this, because it's going to make the process of taking profits a hell of a lot easier in the long run, okay? So if you don't have one, get one. And use code CATDADDY at checkout for 10% off your purchase if you want. The link will be down in the description below for Tangem's official website. I hold the vast majority of my crypto in about 3 different Tangem wallets. And what we're going to do, right, if that's where you're holding the majority of your crypto, what we're going to do when it comes time to sell is a little more confusing way, but a little bit cheaper in fees, is going to be to transfer the amount that you want to sell from your Tangem wallet back to your CoinX, Bitmart, LBank, XT.com, okay? And then what you're going to do there is swap it into USDT or USDC, and then you are going to transfer that USDC or T stablecoins back to your Tangem wallet if you want to hold stablecoins, right? And that's what I would recommend doing at the beginning. Don't take profits and sell them into your bank account yet. I would wait until we're all done and we've got all of our crypto basically in stablecoins, and then we can start moving it into your bank account at that point in time. So what you're going to do is transfer from your Tangem wallet to these smaller exchanges, and then swap it to USDT, USDC back to your Tangem wallet. And now you've just got stable coins in your Tangem wallet. Now, the easier way, in my opinion, because there's swap features in the Tangem wallet, is just to take all of your crypto that you want to turn into stable coins and just swap it straight in the Tangem wallet, which is probably what I'm going to be doing more often than not, because it's a much simpler process, right? We don't have to risk transferring and sending our crypto back over to these little sketchy exchanges and then transferring it back out. And the other thing is, you want to keep your transfer amounts less than $10,000 so that you don't alert anybody with any red flags, right? So what you would be doing if you were doing the transfer back to the smaller exchanges to take profits and swap it into USDT, you're going to be doing 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, or 8,000, 8,000, 8,000, 8,000. And if you've got millions of dollars, or you've got hundreds of thousands of dollars, that's going to be a hell of a lot of transfers back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And what are the chances that you get tired, right? And you get lazy, lackadaisical, and you just screw up and you've got, $10,000 here, $10,000 there that you sent to the wrong address, and you've lost that money forever. So a more simple way for the vast majority of people, I think, is going to be to just hold your funds in your Tangem wallet and swap from your desired crypto that you're taking profits on to USDT or USDC in your Tangem wallet. And it takes, 30 seconds to do, and that's it. You can swap as much as you want at a time too, because you're not having to worry about the amounts that you're sending back and forth. You can do it all at once. It's a cold storage wallet. There is nobody monitoring the amount of money that you are transferring back and forth in that regard. So that is what I would recommend the vast majority of people do. You're going to be paying a little bit higher of a fee, but you're also getting it done quickly and more safely, in my opinion, right? So now, if we're at the stage, let's say we're at the end of the bull cycle, you have taken all of your profits, all of your crypto is turned back into a stable coin in your Tangem wallet, or all of the crypto that you want to, take profits on and turn back into stable coins is sitting in your Tangem wallet. Now, all you have to do in order to take profits is, and this is, depending on whether Tangem actually gets to the point where we have a credit card. I don't know if you guys remember in one of my previous videos, they're apparently getting a Visa card that's going to be attached to their wallets, and you're going to be able to just spend money straight out of the Tangem wallet, which would even take another step out of this, because you never have to move your money out of your Tangem wallet. That is literally where you just keep it. You swap it inside of there, spend it on the Visa card, which would be the ideal situation for a lot of people who don't feel comfortable transferring money back and forth, right? I would recommend downloading all these exchanges and practicing just in case you have to, so that you feel comfortable doing it when the time comes. There are some cryptos that Tangem doesn't support, and doesn't support with a swap feature as well, so those you will have to send out. But I think the majority of things you're going to be able to swap and maybe even spend on a Tangem Visa card right out of that wallet. But the other way around that is, if all of your stable coins are in your Tangem wallet now, right? You've taken your profits, and you're just going to pick one of these top exchanges that you KYC'd on, Kraken, Crypto.com, Coinbase, Uphold, KuCoin, and you are just going to send small amounts to that exchange of your choice that you have set up, that you feel comfortable using, and you're going to send $8,000 to $10,000 at a time as you feel like taking profits, and transferring them back into that exchange. And then from that exchange, you're going to transfer it into your bank account. They all have that option. So it's going to go into your bank account from there. And then you can do whatever you want with it at that point. You're back into real money at that point, right? So those are my steps. If you're new to crypto and you don't feel comfortable transferring things back and forth, I would still recommend, like I said before, practicing with very small amounts and sending small amounts first to make sure that your money makes it to the desired destination, and then send your bulk amount after that. But I would practice a little bit so that you do get comfortable with it in case you need to use it. But for the vast majority of these new people who don't feel comfortable doing something like that, or don't have enough experience yet, I would recommend getting yourself a Tangem wallet, and then I would recommend you keeping the vast majority of your crypto in that wallet. If you can get 2 or 3, that's better, so that you don't have all of your funds in one location. You want to have them diversified if you can into a few different wallets. So if God forbid something happens to one, you've still got 2 more, and you don't lose, all of your life savings or all of your funds. But then inside of that wallet, you're going to be doing all your transactions. All you're doing is hitting a swap button and picking the crypto, or picking the stable coin that you want to sell into, and then hitting the swap button, and it swaps it for you in the wallet. And now you don't have to worry about sending things back and forth, multiple times in certain amounts, back to an exchange, then back to your hardware wallet, and then back to your main exchange. It can get very confusing. So it's good to know the process, good to feel comfortable doing that in case you need to, but get yourself a Tangem wallet and keep your funds in there, and it will make the process a lot more streamlined, a lot more easy for you. Now, 2 more pieces to what I want to go over today. And the other one is, well, what stablecoin do I keep my profits in before I want to sell them into my bank account? And that's a good question. I would diversify between multiple stablecoins. I would use USDT, I would use USDC, I would maybe use Binance, BUSD, I think it's called. And at this point, those are the only 3 that I would say that I would trust 100%. And I would probably, go thirds into all 3 of those. So that way, if God forbid one of the stable coins goes under, you still have 2/3 of your money in other stable coins, right? So now you've got your profits, right, that you have swapped into USDC, USDT, and BUSD inside of your Tangem wallet. And, when you're ready, you can start sending those to your exchange. Or if Tangem, like I said, comes out with their Visa card beforehand, get yourself one of those, and then you can just spend, your crypto in stable coins wherever you are, whenever you want to, anywhere that takes Visa, which is by far the easiest way for a newcomer or an unexperienced crypto trader to do things. So lastly, how much crypto do you want to take profits on, right? And this is in my opinion, a very serious part of this, because a lot of people get married to their bags and they think that their favorite crypto is God sent, and its shit doesn't stink, basically, right? And it's going to be around forever and ever and ever. I would caution anybody who has that thought about anything. Okay, this is not going to be a bearish sentiment on any one crypto by any means, okay? But it's a realistic way that you need to think in order to be successful and not have the potential of round tripping a crypto through the bear market and then it never comes back to its all-time highs again, which the vast majority of projects are going to fall in that category, okay? So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. And you guys can do whatever you want, right? Do your own research, be your own, person. You don't have to copy everything I do or anyone else does, but I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do so that I'm going to be on the safe side and not have to risk writing these cryptos all the way back down and then hoping that they make new all-time highs the next cycle. I am going to sell out of 99% of my crypto, okay? Because, like I mentioned before, we don't know which ones are going to be here next cycle, okay? I own about 15 different, somewhere between 10 and 15 different cryptos, and I'm selling out 100% of the vast majority of them, okay? The only two that I am going to keep a percentage of are Bitcoin and Kaspa, and I'm going to keep about 15 to 20% probably of my Kaspa, and I'm going to do about the same with Bitcoin. Those are the only two. Bitcoin is going to be around. It's going to make new highs next cycle, and I feel very comfortable with that. I do not feel very comfortable with the vast majority of my portfolio doing that next cycle. If you look back cycle to cycle, there is countless amounts of cryptos that were the darling of the prior cycle that are dead in the water come next cycle, because everybody's onto the new, the new shiny thing, and their old projects are dead in the water, whether there's devs working on them or not, right? So Kaspa, I have a feeling, could be one of the outliers, okay? Am I 100% in that? No, I'm not. And I think that that's a healthy skepticism to go into this market with, okay? I think it's going to be one of the outliers, but I also don't know for sure. And as bullish as I am on Kaspa, right? My whole channel is about Kaspa because I'm that bullish on the project. But that doesn't mean necessarily that it is going to dominate next cycle and the cycle after and the cycle after, okay? Do I think that there's a good chance that it will? Yes, I do, but I'm not 100% sure, okay? I am going to take my profits on the vast majority of my Kaspa in 2025, and I am going to keep a little bit in case what we all think is going to happen actually happens. And I'm going to keep enough to where if Kaspa does get to the prices we think it's going to get to in the future, that I'm still going to be very wealthy. So I'm not worried about it at all. But I understand that Kaspa is this once in a generation type of technology that has a good chance of outperforming the norm of what cryptos do cycle to cycle. But we look back at projects like Litecoin. We look back at projects like Neo from way back in the day, right? These type of projects were like golden back then. None of these projects are relevant anymore. You can argue Litecoin's somewhat relevant. I don't know how or why, but some people still invest in it, and it boggles my mind. But there's been plenty of darling projects from cycles past that just die in the next cycle, okay? I would imagine that in this coming cycle, we had a bunch of L1s last cycle, and I'm just speculating on this right now, but Avalanche, Cosmos, Cardano, Phantom, there's a bunch of L1s that were really hot last cycle, and I would go out on a limb to say majority of those, if not all of them, are going to be well out of the top 10 when it comes to the end of this next cycle. Okay, all of those were in the top 10 or close to the top 10, and I think the only outlier in last cycle's L1s is going to be Solana this time around. I think that has potentially one more cycle in it, which is this one, and then I'm offloading all of my Solana after this cycle, and we'll have to see where things are in the bear market and all that. But I just can't stress enough how important it is to sell 100% of majority of your projects. I don't care how much you love them, right? Caspa might be the one outlier this cycle, okay? But everything else you just need to sell out of. Please, sell it all, because you do not want to write it down into the bear market. If you feel like you want to buy it again at the depths of the bear market, be my guest, but take your profits, right? There's a saying, you never go broke taking profits. And that's a very true statement. You do go broke when you're buying cryptos all the way up until the top of the bull market, and then you hold them all the way back down into the bear market. You feel broke as hell because your portfolio goes down 90-something%. So keep that in mind, you guys. Sell the vast majority of everything. If you want to keep a little bit of Caspa, if you want to keep a little bit of Bitcoin, that is what I would recommend, okay? If you do want to hold all of your Caspa through the top of this cycle into the bear market and into next cycle, you might come out just fine, okay? But there's a chance that you don't. I just want to throw that out there, okay? Like I said before, fully expect Caspa to be one of those outliers, but nobody can be 100% sure. Everybody last cycle was saying Cardano, ADA. This is the best crypto ever. It's decentralized. It's, we are getting smart contracts soon, and this is going to revolutionize the space because of this and because of that. And guess what it's doing now? It's a piece of shit, basically, right? In my opinion, I don't like Cardano at all. I used to invest in it. I invested in it last cycle, and it did okay. But it's one of those that I don't believe is going to rebound. We might hit its all-time highs this cycle, back at about $3. I don't think it's going to go much higher than that, if any at all. So I would be very careful with things like that. And I know Caspa is better technology. I know Caspa is a far better project than Cardano, but a lot of people were saying the same things last cycle, right? Cardano was that project that everybody loved. And I would imagine a lot of people round trip Cardano through the bear market thinking this is the best investment that I'll ever make in my life if I just hold it, if I just hold it, if I just hold it. And I don't believe that those people are going to reap the fruits of their labor. That's just my opinion. And if you look at past cycles upon past cycles, history tells us that majority of projects are going to die and are going to never hit their previous cycle all-time high again. So I just caution everybody, right? But it says a lot that I am going to keep about 20% of my Caspa through the bear market, because in every other project besides maybe Bitcoin, I am selling 100%, and it is not even close. I'm not even going to blink an eye at selling 100% of everything, okay? Now, next, you want to have a strategy in place too about when you're going to sell, okay? Because just as we DCA and layer in, it's probably a good idea to do the same thing out, because nobody is going to catch the exact top of the cycle. And if you're layering out slowly, once we get into potentially, right before the summer of 2025, and prices are up, 5, 10, 20, 30, 50x, it's probably a good time to start taking a percentage of your profits and just layering out as we go through the summer months into the fall of 2025. And so as far as a strategy goes, that's going to be different for everybody. Maybe you say, once I've made a 3x, once I've made a 10x, once I've made a 20x, depending on the time of the cycle that we're in, that's when we start taking profits, right? I will let you guys know when I start taking profits and kind of what kind of percentages that I'm pulling out of the market as I go. So if you continue to watch me, you'll have a good idea of when I'm doing things and what I'm doing with certain projects. And it might give you, some comfort in knowing that somebody else is selling. Because like I told you, It is the most difficult thing to do in the crypto space. A lot of people think it's really difficult to buy in the depths of the bear market, and it is for a lot of people, but selling at the top of the cycle is literally, I think, 100 times harder for people because the excitement's there, the euphoria is there, and your projects are up 10, 20, 50, 100, 200, 300, 400x, and it just seems like it's going to keep going forever and ever and ever, and you never want that feeling to stop. And that is where most people make their mistakes. You have to be grounded during that time period, and you have to be consistent in what you have told yourself that you are going to do as far as profit-taking strategies. So I hope this video helped some people. If you guys have other questions that I maybe didn't touch on, because there's so many variables to this topic, right? And there's so many variables to everybody's personal journeys that it's hard to nail, what you should actually do, right? I think that the scenarios that I laid out here are the best scenarios in order for the strategy in where you need to move your money to and how to move your money around. The strategy on when to start doing this is honestly going to depend on, how the market is reacting, and where the market is, where prices are during certain points in time. So it's very hard to nail down an exact strategy on when we're going to start taking profits. But if you have the back end all set up and you're comfortable with transferring, right, and you know what you're going to do when that time comes, then the process of when we're going to start doing it is all you need to worry about, right? Because the back end of everything is already taken care of, and you're comfortable and you're secure with how you are going to handle things when that time comes. And when that time comes, I will let you know when I start taking profits. I believe, we can project a window, but we don't know for sure, right, if that window is going to play out. So like I said, I'm thinking between summer and November of 2025, but, that could change on a dime if other things happen in the background, So we will see when the time comes, but for now, I highly recommend you guys to get the background stuff done, right? Get your small exchanges set up, get comfortable using them, get your VPN set up, get your large exchange that you're going to, transfer money out into your bank account with, get that set up if you don't have one. Crypto.com, Kraken, Coinbase, Uphold, KuCoin. Make sure you're comfortable with bringing money into that exchange, pulling money off of that exchange. Make sure you're comfortable transferring money from your Tangem wallet to that exchange. Make sure you're comfortable transferring money back and forth from your smaller exchanges like CoinX, Bitmart, LBank, and XT to your Tangem and back and forth. Make sure you're comfortable swapping between assets in your Tangem wallet, okay? Make sure that all of those things are comfortable for you to do so that when the time comes, it's second nature to you and we just start executing our sell orders into our stable coins, okay? And things will be very smooth and very easy once the time comes if you're comfortable with all of these background, staples that you need to have in place before we start selling, okay? So in the meantime, guys, make sure that you are practicing, okay? Make sure that you are getting comfortable with that stuff, and make sure you continue to pack your damn bags before it's too late. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.